If you haven't watched Avi's amazing coverage of the Jane V2 ME, the board sitting right there, I highly recommend that you check it out first. It does an amazing job depicting the history, the culture, the ideation behind the Jane name. And in that video, I said that if the overall characteristics of the V2 ME are similar enough to the CE, then it warrants continuing on the Jane V2 name. So that brings us to the burning question. Do all of the changes in the Jane V2 ME make it any less endgame worthy than the V2 CE? Then I got both. Let's check it out. Exterior-wise, these boards are practically identical, except for a few notable changes. There's no more screws holding in the alu accent piece. Instead, the ME has magnets holding it in, which are really fucking strong. It pinched my thumb on stream, and it hurt like a motherfucker. Ow! Fuck! The USB cutout is now thankfully USB-C. The feet are slightly different. It still retains the split top design with the TGR badge above the arrow cluster and the iconic Toblerone weight, which are not swappable between the CE and the ME, if you were thinking that. I know the biggest point of contention for the V2 ME was removing the brass internal weight, which some will say heavily impacts the sound of the board, but I guess there's only one real way to find out. So typing experience-wise, the V2 ME is almost identical to the V2 CE. Granted, they use the same plate and mounting style, with the PP plate just adding in a little bit more flex, but you can probably tell from the sound test that the ME sounds a bit flat, which is kind of what I expected since there's no internal weight or milling to help the acoustics. I personally would recommend a PP plate, since that's the closest I can get to the CE sound profile. And circling back to the original question, do all of the changes and quality of life updates make the ME worthy of the V2 name? Personally, I still think it's a Jane V2, just the CE's little brother, and hear me out on why. Aesthetically, this board is striking. It's undeniably a Jane V2 at heart, just with some refreshed elements from the CE. Feel-wise, it's almost identical, as I mentioned before, with the mounting and the plate options. There are some other touches that I like the alignment tabs, the badge under the top case, and the USB-C cutout. And even the price. The CE goes anywhere from like 2.5 to 7K that Avi mentioned before, and on Mech Market, I see the ME going anywhere from like 1,500 to sub 2K. Granted, the in-stock release probably isn't helping the price as much, but you know, still a point nevertheless. And finally, the removal of the brass internal weight, which isn't really doing any favors to the ME. Don't get me wrong though, I still think this is an endgame worthy board, and granted that it's an in-stock rolling release, I don't think you'd be mad if you managed to get a dub on the raffle. But that's all I got for you guys. I'd love to read your thoughts on the ME's place in the V2 family down below. Yeah, take care and have a good one. Bye.